Imagine a time when movies were black and white, but the stars on the screen shone brighter than the sun. One of those stars was Joan Fontaine. She was not just an actress. She was a woman whose choices and actions off-screen made headlines almost as much as her performances on-screen. But there is something about Joan Fontaine that made people stop and stare, something she left nothing to the imagination. Joan Fontaine was born on October 22nd, 1917 in Tokyo, Japan. Yes, Japan. Her real name was Joan de Beauvoir de Havilland, and she grew up in a family that was already connected to Hollywood. Her sister, Olivia de Havilland, was also a famous actress, and the two sisters had a complicated, sometimes tense relationship. But Joan always found a way to stand out on her own. Many people remember her most for her role in Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. She played the shy, nervous second Mrs. De Winter. But Joan was not just shy on screen. She had a quiet strength that made audiences lean forward in their seats, almost holding their breath. Hitchcock even called her the perfect victim, but Joan brought so much more to her characters than fear. Off-screen, Joan was bold and daring. She did not follow the rules that Hollywood tried to set for women at the time. She chose roles that showed her as more than just a pretty face. She was not afraid to reveal her emotions, her flaws, or her true self. That is the part that shocked people. She was not just performing. She was being honest in a way that few actors dared to be. And speaking of shocking, Joan had moments in her life that left nothing to the imagination. She was confident about her looks, her charm, and her presence. She knew how to make people notice her without saying a word. Even a simple glance could capture the attention of a room. She had that kind of energy that drew people in, almost like a magnet. People loved to talk about her. Magazines, newspapers, and gossip columns could not get enough. Why? Because Joan lived her life on her terms. She was not pretending to be someone else. She could be serious, funny, mysterious, or playful and all at once. And she made people feel something real. That is why her fans still remember her, even decades later. Some stories about Joan are almost unbelievable. She had the ability to make everyday moments feel dramatic. Walking into a room, sitting down for a meal, or reading a book, everything she did seemed larger than life. Yet, she managed to make it look natural. This skill is what made her one of the most captivating women in Hollywood history. Her eyes, especially, were unforgettable. They could express fear, longing, mischief, or sadness, sometimes all at once. Many people say that when Joan Fontaine looked at the camera, it felt like she was looking straight into your soul. That is a rare talent. And let us not forget her awards. Joan Fontaine won an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in Suspicion in 1941. She is one of the few actresses in history to have been nominated for an Oscar for performances in Hitchcock films. But for her, awards were not just about trophies. They were a sign that her hard work and honesty on screen mattered. Outside of acting, Joan loved quiet moments. She enjoyed reading, painting, and spending time in nature. But even in her private life, there was a sense of drama. Her relationships, friendships, and family life often made headlines. Her complicated relationship with her sister Olivia became almost as famous as her films. Some people say that tension between them pushed Joan to be even stronger and more determined. Later in life, Joan Fontaine reflected on her career with honesty and humor. She talked about the challenges, the triumphs, and the mistakes. And in every story, there was always the same feeling. She lived fully, and she did not hide from the world. She left nothing to the imagination because she understood that being real was far more powerful than being perfect. Joan Fontaine was more than a movie star. She was a woman who captivated hearts, stirred minds, and inspired generations. Her life reminds us that confidence, honesty, and courage can leave a mark far stronger than any role or award. She was unforgettable, not because she followed the rules, but because she did not. So next time you see a black and white film, look a little closer. You might just see Joan Fontaine, a woman who dared to be herself, a woman who left nothing to the imagination.